Beauty Spy War. Based on Scorpio, a finalist in the second Proud Korean Screenplay competition. Previously on Beauty Spy War. At Busan Begsuko, Hyena assassinated former NIS agent An Kong Min with a poison needle. A desperate chase through the streets led to a dead-end alley. A suspicious man, cornered by police, clutching a 007 briefcase. Open the bag. Now. Open it. What's inside the briefcase? Is he really Hyena? Episode 31 begins now. Episode 31 The poison needle component Neostigmine bromide. A pistol was pressed firmly against his head. As the 007-style briefcase slowly opened, a prosthetic hand and a sharp surgical scalpel came into view. Several pen-shaped syringes were also visible. The police officer's eyes widened in shock. "You bastard, don't you dare glare at me. Why? What did I do wrong? Why? Don't play dumb with me. This is poison, isn't it? I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't give me that crap. You're dead today. Take this son of a bitch away. And don't forget to read him his Miranda rights. You are under arrest for violation of the medical law. You have the right to remain silent. The right to an attorney, and anything you say can and will be used against you." Hyundai Police Station. The station was in chaos due to the assassination at Busan Begsuko. Crowded with NFS agents and investigators. Inside the Hyundai police station as the sun slowly set. Arguments broke out between suspects and officers. Across desks and computer screens. People with busted lips and bruised faces, every kind of human being imaginable were shouting and crying as they were interrogated. A detective sergeant walked into the interrogation room, holding the pen-shaped needle. "This is a poison needle, isn't it? Yes or no?" "I told you, it isn't." "Then why the hell did you run earlier? Huh? You want to die, you bastard?" The suspect smirked coolly, as if mocking the situation. The sergeant, irritated by the attitude, snapped. Smack. He slapped the suspect on the head with an interrogation file. "Are you a spy? Yes or no? Spit it out. Maybe we should send you straight to National Security Investigation. Is this how democratic police treat citizens? You're supposed to protect us. What the hell are you saying? You're treating an innocent man like a criminal." The detective raised his hand as if to strike him. "Human rights? Does human rights put food on the table? You carry around an assassination needle and talk about rights? For people like you, there's no such thing." The suspect wasn't easily intimidated. Spies? In this day and age? Look at the way this punk talks. We've got clear evidence right here. It's not a poison needle. Not a poison needle? No. Then what the hell is it? I'd test it on you if I could. I told you it's not. The detective slammed the file against his head again. Keep running your mouth, and I'll make you piss blood. Piss blood? Screw you. The suspect sighed deeply. What's your resident ID number? He laughed sarcastically. Answer me. I won't ask again. You're gonna hit me again, aren't you? Fine. 631-208-1736-015. He rattled off a number casually. The officer typed it into the terminal. You think this is a joke? The detective grabbed him by the collar. That number doesn't even exist, you bastard. Hey, is the Apiciu fingerprint system still down? Of course it is. Always breaks when we need it. Then we'll do it the old-fashioned way. Give me your hand. The sergeant yanked the suspect's left hand, and examined each finger under a bright light, reciting the fingerprint classification codes from memory. He called them out one by one. 4, 8, 3, 2, 6, 3. He read off the codes for the thumb, index, middle, ring, and little fingers. Training from Police Academy kicked in rough fingerprint categorization. Could still identify someone in emergencies. Over the phone, another officer responded. Hold on. Name Park Sang-pal. Address Gongju, South Chungcheong Province. Wanted for violation of the medical law. Park Sang-pal. That's you, isn't it? Yes, that's me. Science sure has come a long way. Suddenly cooperative, Park straightened up. The officer on the phone shouted angrily. Park Sang-pal, you son of a bitch. Wasting our time like this. Startled, Park leaned forward apologetically. Well, you see, officer, this device is for, certain purposes in certain situations. What the hell are you babbling about? It's for satisfying women. For us men. You know how modern women are. Either you make big money or you've got to be strong in other ways. Park exaggerated his explanation. The sergeant clapped sarcastically. Well, good for you. Working so hard for the men of this nation. So you're telling me this is some kind of new injection device? Like Viagra? Exactly. Made in China? Some are, but I'm patriotic. I only sell pure Korean products. Should I be praising you for that? Park grinned and whispered to another officer. Hey, officer, since we're on the subject, want one for yourself? What, you little punk? I'm still going strong. Don't need that crap. He glared fiercely, then softened his tone. How much is it? Is it reliable? Ha ha, big talk earlier. Well, you see. Forget it. I was just kidding. Busan National Forensic Service Autopsy Examination Room. Inside the autopsy room of the National Forensic Service in Busan, forensic staff were carefully examining the body of Hong Kong Min, who had been murdered at Begsuko. Dr. Go Eun-hee had also come down from the Seoul NFS office. Her neat hairstyle and the distinctive yellow jade hairpin stood out. All cases related to the National Intelligence Service were handled exclusively through Drive. Go Eun-hee. This centralized system ensured confidentiality for sensitive, non-disclosed cases, minimized confusion, and allowed for more controlled external briefings. Fingerprint samples, blood stains, footprints, and other evidence were being analyzed and entered into the system. Technicians turned the body from side to side, taking photographs from every angle. Various chemical reagents were used for on-site tests. The medical examiner focused closely on the victim's neck area. Unlike a typical violent assault, the wound was relatively clean and precise. With a marker pen, he carefully circled the tiny puncture mark left by the needle. As soon as Daebum and Jun Tae arrived, they examined Hong Kong Min's body themselves. So the poison needle component has been identified? Yes. The substance used in the needle has been determined to be neostigmine bromide. Isn't that a chemical commonly used in assassinations? It is an extremely lethal toxin to the human body. After confirming the condition of Hong Kong Min's body once more, Daebum and Juntae hurried back to Seoul. National Intelligence Service small conference room. Director Cho sat at the table with a rigid, hardened expression. On the desk in front of him, he rolled a small vial of poison back and forth with his fingers. The label read in English neostigmine bromide. Beside him sat Dr. Go from the National Forensic Service, wearing her black horn-rimmed glasses, along with several agents engaged in discussion. Just then, Daebum and Juntae entered the conference room. Dr. Go nodded briefly in greeting and was about to begin her explanation, when Daebum spoke first. What exactly was the toxin identified in the needle? It has been confirmed to be the same substance as neostigmine bromide. So according to the forensic analysis, the poison used in the assassination of Chairman Hong Kong Min matches the kind of toxin typically used by spies in assassinations or terrorist operations. At this stage, that is a reasonable assumption. Yes, if it's a poison needle compound, we can almost certainly regard this as the work of an operative. Director Cho, who had been watching the exchange with narrowed, suspicious eyes, turned toward Juntae. Team Leader Yoon, that kind of substance isn't something you can easily purchase on the open market, is it? Director, before we go further, please take a look at this screen. On the screen appeared a model of a poison dart gun, followed by footage of a test being conducted against a wooden target. The dart flew with perfect accuracy, striking the target dead center without the slightest deviation. Junte pointed at the video with a laser pointer. The poison used this time appears to have been deployed by a long-established sleeper agent. And what's your basis for that judgment? Since the capture of armed infiltrator Kim Dong-sik in Buyo, South Chungcheong Province in October 1995, North Korea has largely shifted its assassination methods from poison needles to poison dart guns. The poison needle may be an old technique, but it's still widely used in the spy world. So you're saying the trend has shifted toward dart guns instead? How powerful are those weapons? Yes, sir. Let me show you a test video demonstrating their effectiveness. As you can see, from a distance of 3 meters, the dart easily penetrates a 7 mm thick wooden board. It's a top-grade assassination weapon. Penetrating a wooden board? That makes it an extremely dangerous tool. Exactly. Which is why the fact that the killer chose a poison needle instead suggests he may be a sleeper agent who infiltrated the South many years ago. So we could be dealing with a very old generation operative? That is one possibility. Another is that he could be what we call a lost agent, someone whose line of communication with the North has been severed. A lost agent? Yes. Someone who infiltrated long ago but, due to various circumstances, lost contact with their handlers. You're basing that conclusion solely on the use of a poison needle? Even in the West, poison needles are still used quite effectively. We shouldn't rule out other possibilities. Understood. Still, our current hypothesis is that this may be a disconnected sleeper agent who, unable to obtain newer poison dart equipment, resorted to older methods. That's certainly a plausible scenario. But remember, always keep every possibility open. At that point, Daebum brought out an actual poison dart gun, recovered from the Kim Dong-sik case, and began to explain. This is the real dart gun used by Kim Dong-sik in the past. This is the actual device? Yes, sir. Outwardly it looks like nothing more than an ordinary fountain pen. But inside it contains a detonator, propellant, and a dart loaded with poison optimized for targeted assassination. I remember how much trouble we had tracking Kim Dong-sik back then. And the operating principle? If you twist it once or twice, like this, and push here, the charge detonates and disperses a toxin called Neostigmine bromide. which is roughly 5 times more lethal than cyanide. With a direct needle, if the target resists, it's hard to strike accurately. But with a dart gun, you can simply aim at the torso and fire far more convenient and precise. Yes. In terms of practicality, it's a significant improvement. Enemy weapons have evolved a lot. You all need to study them constantly, handle them, understand them, feel them. These are real assassination threats we face in the field. Understood. There's an old saying, even the mighty Shang Yu can stumble over a mere vine. Always examine clues with an open mind. Yes, sir. I'll keep that in mind. Director Cho then pointed at a photograph on the table. By the way, what's that scribbling on the corpse? That concludes episode 31. The briefcase contained a prosthetic hand, a surgical knife, and pen-shaped syringes. But the suspect wasn't Hyena, he was Park Sang-pal, an illegal medical equipment dealer. Wanted for violating medical law. Meanwhile, forensic analysis identified the poison used to kill Hong Kong Min Neostigmine. Bromide, a lethal toxin used by spies for assassinations. So where is the real Hyena? Who's the next target? Beauty Spy War is based on Scorpio, a finalist in the second Proud Korean Screenplay competition. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and like. Thank you for listening. Opening meant 3 former intelligence agents have been assassinated. The same signature, the same poison, and now a silent power struggle begins inside the National Intelligence Service itself. Is this terrorism, espionage, or a secret operation buried in the past? Episode 32 reveals the truth no one wants exposed. Episode 32. What is a secret operation, anyway? Zoom in on the upper body of the corpse. Yes, sir. What is that graffiti? Did someone actually write something on a dead man's body? On the screen, a set of numbers scrawled across the victim's chest came into focus. SF168930012. It's the same code as before. The same identifier SF168930012. What do you think it means? Well, the agent inhaled slowly. It was deliberately left on the victim's chest. In my view, it's either a code name or some kind of identification marker. That points directly to the perpetrator. Then are you saying the suspect we caught has nothing to do with this murder? Yes, sir. He's an illegal medical device dealer who's been on the run for years for violating the Medical Service Act. Then why did he run? People don't bolt unless they've got something to hide. He claims he panicked because he'd been constantly chased by police for medical law violations, and when he spotted officers at the venue, He fled without thinking. Daebum explained while reviewing documents brought from the Busan Police Department. And what's this? The item he was carrying, something resembling a poison needle? It looks like a fountain pen type needle. Yes, but it turned out to be a self-treatment injector. The substance inside was similar to Viagra. So we almost had something and then nothing. A complete false lead, huh? I apologize. Were there any other clues? Additional forensic examinations are still underway at the Busan National Forensic Service. Wait. Wasn't the murder of Russian Consul Choi Byung-jun also carried out with a poison needle? Yes. He was killed by a poison needle as well. And in Russia, because of their close ties with North Korea. The assassination investigation was never properly pursued, was it? Yes. They absurdly closed the case as a simple robbery murder. It was laughable. A simple robbery murder? Of course they sided with North Korea. There's no way they'd ever admit it was an assassination just to please South Korea. Eventually, after the body was repatriated, the National Forensic Service confirmed that the cause of death was poison needle injection. What was the toxin used in that case? Neostigmine bromide. Put Consul Choi Byung-jun's photos on the screen. Images from the investigation into Choi's assassination filled the screen. He was an exceptional senior officer, brilliant in language and intelligence analysis. I learned a great deal from him. Director Cho closed his eyes briefly, as if lost in memory. The investigation photos remained on screen. And once again, numbers crudely scrawled across the chest were enlarged. Dr. Go Eun-hee, the forensic specialist, assigned exclusively to NIS cases, added further explanation. There is a slight difference in the toxin composition, compared to Consul Choi's case. You're saying the poison itself is different? Director Cho's eyes widened slightly. The chemical formula is CHNO. It's rather complex, hardly something a layman could grasp. Neostigmine is actually a compound used in medical practice. That toxin? Used where? Of course, when used appropriately, it has legitimate medical applications. For example, it's used to treat severe myasthenia gravis. So even poison can be used for good? Yes. But the side effects are severe. Neostigmine bromide is 5 times more toxic than potassium cyanide, hydrogen cyanide, in other words. That's why it's commonly used as the main ingredient in poison needles. 5 times more toxic than cyanide. That's vicious. Yes. Whether ingested, inhaled, or injected subcutaneously via a needle. It is fatal. You mentioned inhalation. Does it have a distinctive odor? Yes. It emits a sharp, irritating smell. Thank you for the explanation, Doctor. Go. You're welcome. At that moment, Director Cho received a call from the NIS Director's secretary. Yes, this is Director Cho. The director is asking for you urgently. Right now? Is it serious? Yes. He wants you immediately. Understood. Director Cho ended the call. Let's resume in 1 hour. After knocking, he opened the door to the director's office. Come in. Is the investigation making good progress? Yes, sir. Since several cases have been consolidated, it may take some time. Couldn't the investigation be toned down a bit? Toned down? Are you saying we should stop? Now. I never said you shouldn't take responsibility. Then what exactly do you mean, sir? There are national-level events coming up. If things become too noisy, visiting athletes and officials may feel uneasy. And if that happens, they may decide not to come at all. That's why we're keeping it low-key. The investigation is ongoing, but we're deliberately adjusting the pace so it doesn't draw too much attention. Do you really not understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Of course I understand. I'm saying this because His Excellency is not in a comfortable state of mind. Then that would be a problem. We'll take special care. For now, do not proceed by directly targeting North Korea. Globally speaking, assassinations and terrorist acts can occur through many different channels, can't they? Yes, that's true. However, the poison needle that recently surfaced, the individual captured in the composite sketch speaking with a North Korean accent. The assassination methods previously used by North Korea, and even the toxin composition itself all closely resemble known North Korean operations. Haven't you heard that even the Blue House is growing uneasy? From higher up as well? His Excellency is my master. Should I allow him to feel anxious? No, sir. That would be disloyalty. So what I'm saying is this: slow the investigation down, or weaken it. Isn't it possible to simply not pursue it at all? Under the director's sharp gaze, Director Cho's eyes wavered and fell. There's an international event coming up. We need it to be successful. Think about re-election. Make sure this doesn't get in the way. Still, 3 former agents have been killed. No one knows who the next target might be. Everyone is on edge. Now listen carefully. I'm telling you to pause for a moment. Take 1 breath. You can continue later. Or after the administration changes, even. Yes. I understand. Director Cho was dissatisfied, but he did not show it. As he walked down the corridor outside the director's office, his heart felt heavy. When your livelihood is on the line, you have no choice, he thought. Images of his daughters surfaced in his mind. Jun Hee and Seo Hee are both in college now. They're still so young. I can't afford to make a mistake and lose everything. Director Cho entered the conference room. Team Leader Kong. Have poison needles been used in assassinations before, like this one? Yes, sir. Besides the case of Consul Choi Byung-jun, there was also the missionary Kim Ji-I-won who died in Dandong, and Pastor Kong Sung-bin, who was active in North Korean human rights work. Poison needles are still used by intelligence agencies worldwide to eliminate targets. And over time, these methods have evolved to leave as little trace as possible. That's why we continue to share intelligence with advanced agencies around the world and collect extensive data on assassination cases. Hasn't Russia been in the spotlight recently over assassination allegations? Yes. The Russian Federal Security Service, the FSB, denies any involvement. But intelligence agencies worldwide are watching them very closely. 3 of our former NIS agents have been killed. If we don't catch the perpetrator quickly, how do you think the public will view our organization? We're expediting the investigation. Did we gain anything useful from the Consul Choi case? In the case of Consul Choi Byung-jun, who was assassinated in Vladivostok, 2 diagonal wounds each about 10 centimeters long were found beneath the right rib area. That's right. I remember now. When the body was brought back to Korea and examined, a toxic substance neostigmine bromide was detected. So that was also a poison needle? Yes, sir. And in this case as well, the National Forensic Service has confirmed similarities with the toxin used in poison guns. So the toxin is similar to what North Korean operatives use. Yes. Which means there's a very high probability this was carried out by North Korean agents. Yes. Given the similarity of the toxins, we are provisionally assessing it as a North Korean operation. But pushing it outright as North Korea's doing feels premature, doesn't it? Sir? The investigators, including Daebum, looked surprised. It's too early to jump to conclusions. Relations between North and South have improved recently. Exchanges are active. Political atmosphere and intelligence warfare beneath the surface are entirely different matters. I know. There are 3 victims, not just 1 or 2. There must be a common link. When was the last time the mood between North and South was this good? Sports exchanges, family reunions, warm winds like this don't come often. There have already been 3 assassinations of former agents. When you say things like that, are you telling us to investigate or not to investigate? Frankly, that's a very uncomfortable thing to hear. Hey, are you openly challenging me right now? Aren't you crossing the line? If that's how it sounded, I apologize. Before long, an international sporting event watched by the entire world will be held on the Korean peninsula. Everyone's on edge, wondering whether North Korea will attend or not. So I'm saying let's take it easy. Take it easy? Aren't we already doing that? And do we even have ironclad proof that North Korea is behind this? Despite his words, Director Cho cautiously cast doubt on the North Korea connection. Director, are you denying the possibility of North Korean involvement? Who said I was denying it? You keep bringing up inter-Korean relations. As Daebum's emotions flared, Director Cho's eyes narrowed sharply. So? Go on. Say it. Daebum suddenly felt his anger surge. A memory surfaced. The assassination of Lee Han-young. Director, back in 1997, during the Lee Han-young assassination case, didn't we fail to respond properly? And only after the Choi Young-nam spy couple was exposed did we belatedly conclude it was a North Korean operation? This case is different, isn't it? That's exactly why we need clear, decisive judgment from leadership. Only then can we act quickly. So you're saying my judgment was slow? That I ruined everything? There was an element of that. And this time again, former agents are being killed one after another. At the very least, we must consider this a spy operation. So what do you want from me? What exactly can I help you with? You're willing to help? Then I want to know the behind-the-scenes stories of former NIS agents, your contemporaries. Behind-the-scenes stories? How would I know those? We're not asking to know everything. Certainly not their private lives. But between the public records, Management Act and internal NIS security regulations, we're completely blocked. There's nothing I can tell you. And even if there were, I couldn't. Then allow me to ask just one critical question. A critical question? Are you, Director, by any chance, part of the center of these assassination cases? What? Are you interrogating me now? Interrogation? Absolutely not. Then what is this? You're putting me in an impossible position. We're trying to prevent any potential danger. Potential danger? Were there any projects or covert operations you carried out together with the former directors who've now been killed? And if there were? What then? If there were, then that means you are already on their target list. On their target list, me? Daebum didn't miss the faint shadow that crossed Director Cho's face. Please tell us. If there was something, anything. Daebum refused to back down, citing his own long experience in counterintelligence. How long are we supposed to keep watching our backs? But looking at these cases, given that executives from biometric security companies are being killed, couldn't this be industrial espionage? Yet the common thread remains. They were all former NIS agents. So, I believe this case is directly tied to the National Intelligence Service itself. I know that. That's why the core of my argument is this. We should treat this as a terrorist operation carried out either by long-embedded sleeper agents or newly infiltrated North Korean operatives and conduct a full-scale investigation. Are you sure that's a cool-headed assessment? Yes. Our team believes we must focus on terrorism and assassination. I'm well aware that team leader Kong is a veteran in counter-North Korean operations. Then please tell us the truth. This man, wasn't he also from counterintelligence? That's right. That's why we're asking. I've survived in this world for decades. I want to catch those bastards with my own hands. And you might die at their hands. Ending. Episode 32. How was it? The forensic analysis confirms all 3 assassination cases likely involve North Korean operatives. However, the shocking order from the director's office, "Delay the investigation. Don't disturb the president. Consider the re-election." Thinking of his 2 daughters in college, Director Cho has no choice but to comply. But team leader Daebum refuses to back down. He remembers the 1997 Lee Han-young assassination case, when political hesitation led to tragedy. And then, the bombshell question. Are you on their target list too, Director? That shadow on Director Cho's face. Does he have a hidden past? What was the secret operation he shared with the 3 murdered agents? In episode 33, Director Cho's past and the real target of these assassinations begin to be revealed. Director Cho, you're next. Please stay tuned for episode 33. Thank you for listening.